I have talked to hundreds of women in prison in the last 12 months. Hundreds. I haven't found one victim yet, except them. But not one crime did any of them commit that I've talked to on the phone had a victim. They didn't harm anyone.
I am business with those bonds, and when I came in on the train and I landed at your Ruby station, I seen some police officers speaking with children. So they weren't speaking with older people, so they're starting to get in touch with them young.
Okay. I had a conversation with Bonnie the other day, and she was talking to one of the people in charge of commissary at the prison. 1,600 women in this prison. Okay. 1,600 women. The profit at the commissary is $94,000 a month. They mark up a package of top ramen noodles by 2/3. So what, you could go into any store here out in the outside world, buy 3 packages for it. You get 1 in prison. 1 package. That's how much they mark it all up. A phone call. I talked to Bonnie for an hour last night. 1 hour last night. $6 a minute. I put $250 on her telephone account every 5 to 7 days.
Times 3 million families, times 3 million prisoners in America. Times maybe they have 5 to 6 loved ones that are doing the same thing.
$74,000 a year the prison gets for the bed, full. If the bed is full, they get $74,000. Where do they get it from? They get it from the court. The court pays the private prison corporation $74,000 for everyone they house a year. Then they make $94,000 a month off the commissary. And a lot off the phones. Now, I'm going to tell you another story. I'm going to tell you about a fairly young black woman. She's in her mid-30s. Some of you, that's not young. To me, that's really young. I have kids older than that. She's in her mid-30s. She was working for one of the big telecommunications companies, and she was making a 5 to 6 figure income, almost 6 figures, just a hair under 6 figures a year. It's a lot of money. And she knew she had a problem. She was born with a problem because her mother was on drugs when she was born, and it transferred to the baby. And her whole life she struggled with a drug problem and never wanted to be part of that system, that community, that drug community. But she's always struggled with it. So she was paying $10,000 a month out of her own pocket while she was driving her BMW to work every day to a center, a drug center, rehabilitation center that was upper end, like Betty Ford Center. Okay? I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's an upper end drug rehabilitation treatment program. One day, she was a little late to work. She was speeding in her BMW. Police officer pulls her over. Between her seats, she had a file folder that said the Betty Ford Center on it. or whatever the name of it, the one she was going to. And it had a trifold brochure sitting between the seats and a pile of their paperwork on the passenger seat. And he sees that and he says, "Oh, you're a drug addict." And he starts having a conversation, just casual conversation. "Yeah, my brother was into that, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I've struggled with it all my life, but it's under control. I haven't done drugs in 15 years, she says. He writes this notes down in the ticket. He searches the entire car. Doesn't find a thing. Gives her a ticket, lets her go. Some district attorney read that report, read that ticket. They kicked the doors in at her house, arrested her for drugs she hadn't done in 15 years and been paying big money for treatment and everything else. Put her in prison, same prison my wife's in. The district attorney scared the crap out of her, but the judge put her in prison and made her take drug rehabilitation classes in prison and go through their drug rehabilitation program. The judge owned the program. It's a corporation him and a few of his other judge buddies started in the prison. You know, that foundation they start, and they do big fundraisers at fancy restaurants at $1,000 a plate that people come and pay these judges for these drug rehab programs because they think they're helping the people. I guarantee that program in the prison isn't as good as the program she was in, that she was paying for herself. But here's what's worse. She went to prison as a felon. Didn't even have trial. She signed a plea. She was scared. It was under duress. She went to prison. Guess what happened to her almost six-figure-a-year job? She lost it. You think she isn't losing that new house? Missed 3 payments on your house, what do you think's going to happen? Okay, she's been in there 7 years, her house is gone. What happened to her BMW?